Really, Corinne, I insisted. It is imperative that you do to this house what you like. But Joey hasn't inherited, meaning you must do what Ida says. Exactly right. If I must. Their new life in Ravenwood sprung up like a garden out of winter. The new Mrs. Corinne Ratliff, like a seed in that garden, rose into action. She made the necessary inquiries, sketched her decorative desires, made the right introductions to her neighbors, and joined the right sort of social groups. That included Dishwater, who she caught on the streets of Brindleton Bay. Corinne had always had very specific aims for her life. And now, oh now, they were possible. Irma and Ida decided to travel for a spell to let the couple settle. You don't feel badly, my love. Not at all. My home is where you are, and think. It will be as if we are returning to a new house. The Ratliffs' lives existed in two parts. One part home and hearth, the other work and discipline. With much more recent funding, the newly reconditioned Arlington Preparatory Academy welcomed Professor Joseph Bernard Ratliff. Motivated by Mr. Gibbs' childhood influence, Joseph was a bright and engaged teacher who took the education of his students to heart. And at home, he took his love to heart, too. One of the best parts of his day was coming home to a smile. Not just any smile, one for him specifically. With his chest so full of adoration, Joey didn't mind a little plaster or a few bruised thumbs. Not if it meant giving his patroness the house she dreamed of, a space for art and artists, for thinkers and dreamers. If she wanted a haven for the mind and spirit, he would give her his very own if he could. Will you feel something for me, Joey? Put your hands on my stomach. Your stomach? I'm pregnant. The months that grew that life were blissful and moving. Which do you want? I want yours. Corinne's pregnancy went wonderfully. She was never sick, and she loved the feel of life growing within her. What do you think of the name Beau? Never in 1,000 years. What of Mabel or Thomas? Nice, but what of Clavius? No. Or Sloppy? No. But some days, Joseph wasn't as full of bliss and motion. It looks as if he really loved her. He must have. At the other end of the gallery, the side left bare for Corinne's future artists, was the first work in their collection. A photograph of his mother. What if the worst happens? What if she ends up like you, and I end up like him? Just days before baby's arrival, Ida and Irma returned home and finally met the Livingstons in something of a chaotic dinner, because that night Corinne went into labor, and Joseph admittedly wasn't prepared. How was everything moving so quickly and yet so slowly? And why were there so many people suddenly sitting about? Days of pains and cries, and Joseph forcing a smile and making comfort for Corinne. They read, they talked. He vowed to be there every moment. She's perfect. They're both perfect. And finally, Virginia Ratliff and Madeline Ratliff were born into the world.